Imagine rolling out a mobile application without ever writing a single line of code. Most people think you need years of programming experience and thousands of lines of code to write a mobile application. Today, I'm going to prove to you that's no longer true. Yes, building a mobile application did used to mean learning to write loads of different code, but now you can do it with nothing but AI and a bit of creativity. You can create any type of application you want, start a business from scratch, just by giving these AI tools a description of what you want to build and pressing publish. You no longer need to be a developer to create a mobile app. And over the next 10 to 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So you can watch over my shoulder and see the process that I go through to create mobile apps for our business so that you have a framework to go away and start creating applications for yourself. I'm going to create a flashcards app that takes some content, we'll upload some content, we'll summarize that and create a test and a bunch of flashcards around it so that customers can learn any content they want quickly, efficiently, and at their own speed. We'll use AI to summarize the content and create the flashcard tests, and we'll put in some features that make it a lot easier and quicker for the customer to learn. So they'll only take questions they failed previously, for example. There's 1,000 different ways you can build this app. You could do it specifically for university students, or you could focus on something like a driver's license test and be hyper specific and focus on a niche. You could include things like gamification, where the user has a leaderboard and they compete with friends to study, or you could focus on things like what's the best way for a user to learn. There's specific colors and things around how people learn that you can implement into your application to make it easier for them to learn fast. And the market's big enough for everyone, so don't think this is overcrowded and there's already 1,000 apps out there. If you really want to build an application business or an AI business, this is one of the best and easiest routes out there to get started. So let's jump in. So I'm going to start off by giving it quite a simple prompt, just the most important functionality of the application. Found if I give it a much more complex prompt, mapping out the entire application, then it struggles and we run into a lot of errors. Often you can't get out of, and it just keeps going in this cycle of trying to fix these errors. So what I usually do is create a simple prompt, one functionality, and then we build upon that. Also gives us time to check in between each different feature as well, make sure everything's working, and it's quicker for the AI to produce results. So I'm going to give it a prompt here. We're going to create like a flashcards quiz kind of application. So a user can upload a piece of content, a picture, PDF, Word, doc, etc., and AI will summarize it and create a test which consists of a bunch of flashcards. Flashcard should have 4 answers. When the user selects an answer, it either highlights in green or red, depending on if it's correct or incorrect. The correct answer should always highlight. That's going to take a while to create that. Looks like it's done with that. The cool thing is with Bolt as well, you can download Expo Go and then using your phone, open the app in Expo Go so you can see exactly how it's going to look on the mobile phone. So let's see what is created. I'm actually quite happy with this. Nice little emblem, nice little icons at the bottom. We've got some stats here, 12-day streak, cards, sets, upload new content, library. Nice, so it's got a list of our tests. There's a primary purpose of photosynthesis in plants. So it's showing red for incorrect and green for correct, which is nice, which was known in the past. That's all. Mitochondria, a little tick there. Nice. What is the chemical formula for water? We've got a counter here as well. Doing sound to mitosis. So 4 out of 5 correct, not bad. Oh, looks like there's a bug there because it's not finishing. So we've got our first bug there, which is it's not actually giving us a score at the end of the test. So there's 2 issues I can see here. We've gone through the test. You may have noticed when I chose an incorrect answer, there was a little red circle, but no cross. So I would fix that. The bottom navigation isn't here. So we want that so that the user can navigate out if they want. So there's a couple of issues here, right? We can see there's no bottom navigation at the bottom of the application. So I can't navigate out of this test whenever I want to. Maybe a really, really long test, 30, 40 questions, and halfway through I need to get out. At the end of the test, it should give you a score, should allow you to retake the test possibly, or see which ones you got wrong and why you got them wrong. So there's a couple of issues here. We'll give Bolt a little explanation on that and see if we can fix it. but overall it's not a bad start. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's try a different one. So it hasn't fixed the bottom navigation, but it has added the score at the end. Did terrible. We can go back to library, which is good. So we're getting somewhere. So what else we got? Index, profile, which has got some stats, preferences, study goals, upload PDF documents. Okay. So overall, I actually quite like the design of this. It's very, very simple. But to show you how I would tackle design aspects is I would look at other apps within this space, see what they do well, and then kind of model some of the app on that. So take the features you like out of the different apps and implement those into ours. One that I've seen on another quiz app is they have a nice header navigation. So we'll add in some header navigation here. And so I've given it another prompt here, told it to create a header nav with welcome username, some stats on the right-hand side. So the day streak and how many minutes we've studied today. We'll just use dummy data for this example, but let's see how that comes out. Nice, so that was correct. It's keeping it quite simple with just icons and no writing, which is nice. Leaves you a lot more real estate on the actual app for other things. So library, 15 cards, 8 minutes. So I like this as well. It tells you how many cards and how long the test would take. So it would get the file names, which is nice because then if you've got lots of tests, you can figure out which one the actual test came from. So if you uploaded a history PDF, it came from the history PDF. I wonder how well AI would summarize that and give you the names there. So that's nice. Got little features here. You see this pop up on success. Obviously, this is all dummy stuff at the moment, dummy data at the moment. But next we'll add in our backend. So for the backend, you want to give it a bit of thought. What do we need around the backend? We've got a user that can take a test, which is a bunch of flashcards. Flashcard has a question and answer, 4 possible answers, one of which is correct. So what I'd recommend you do is actually just map this out a little bit, the most simple kind of functionality that we have so far. And we want to see results for a test as well. So for the backend, we like to use Laravel. It's very flexible. It's PHP, so it's one of the most popular languages in the world. So it's easy to find developers, cheap developers, which are really, really good. It's very robust. It has unit testing, loads of modules that you can just add in, plug and play, so you don't have to write a load of code yourself. So I'm going to use Cursor to build the full backend without writing a single line of code. Create this prompt here. So let's have a look at that. Download the latest Laravel and create this app. And Docker with a web server on port 8088 and a separate MySQL server. So you don't need Docker. You could run this locally. Running the actual backend app would be separate from this tutorial, but we use Docker. It's a containerized solution that it's very easy for our developers to pick this up. They don't need to install anything. They can just run Docker in the background and they have the full app and everything up and running for them. So this is the actual meat of it. A test has a user and can have many flashcards. A flashcard has many questions. A question has a term and multiple definitions. A definition has a field correct, true or false. A test has many attempts. An attempt has a result percentage and a date. A result has many question results. A question result has a question ID, correct, true or false. This create migrations, seeders, and API routes. Create seeders for 3 different tests with 5 to 10 questions, each with 4 definitions. Only 1 definition can be correct for each question. So that prompt is based on the database. It's giving it clear instructions on the database structure because everything stems from that. The controllers, the API routes that we're going to use, that the mobile app will connect and query for tests, user data, question sets, flashcard sets, etc. for whatever data it is that you need from the app that your mobile app's going to use. At the end of this, I'll show you how to plan that whole prompt in an easier way. This language is just very specific for Cursor to understand the migrations, seeders, which is dummy data. It's going to seed into the app so that we can get this up and running as soon as possible without making a load of data for the app. The API routes, so that we can query the API, get the data back, show it within the application, and then the supporting kind of controller logic around that, which is very basic at the moment. We'll go away and think for a while. And because I'm organized, I built one earlier, so we will just stop this and we'll jump into the one previously built. And so if we look in here, it downloaded Laravel, our framework. You can see you've got Cedar here, which adds tests, description, flashcards. So we've got all our migrations here for the different tables in the database. We've got our Cedar. So you can see there's a load of data in here, dummy data, and these are our routes. So this is where we're going to query on the API. So let's go ahead and connect up the API to the mobile app. So we can see here, this is our Laravel app, and it's returning the quiz and tests from this. So if we put this in JSON printed, use a JSON pretty print, we can see the tests. We've got a geography quiz with what are the capital cities, what's the capital of France. This is a flashcard 1 with the term, what is the capital of France, question ID, Paris, London. You can see that one's true, this one's false. So if we have a look at our app and we go to library, you can see the list of tests are all dummy data at the moment, biology fundamentals. So we want to connect this up so it's getting this data from our backend application. And to do this, we're going to need to have the application running publicly, because at the moment it's only running locally. So we want to use Ngrok, HTTP 8888. Ngrok is a free service that creates a public domain so that we can query that on the internet. If we go here, should get the same data. Yep. Now, here's the trick with this. We should, what I'd like to do, because Bolt isn't very good at understanding the structure of the JSON data coming from the API. So we have to give it clear instructions. So what I do is I feed it to ChatGPT and ask it to create a prompt for Bolt so that it can understand the structure. Sometimes this is hit and miss. Let's see what it comes out with. So here's what I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do. I need to create a prompt for an AI mobile app builder so that it can understand the JSON structure. Should get a list of tests from that URL, and when clicking a test, it chooses to get the test flash from, and we want to add the ID here, and it's a questions and answers. A question has term and then 4 definitions of the correct field. Here's the JSON. Okay, so this needs a bit of changing because it's thinking it's creating a new command. So we can just take that. That's the instructions and the, is that correct? Yep, title, description. Cool. So update the app to query our API. So that should change these to our list of geography quiz, collapse that, science quiz, history quiz, and that's it. So with Laravel, you can list all these routes that were created as well, so you can get the full URL for the list. So you can see here we've got API attempts, definitions, flashcards, questions, tests. If we just grab tests, then you've got a list of the URLs for the tests. So we've run into problems. So there we go, you can see, let's fix that error. You can see it's quite good at fixing its own errors as well. So it runs into an error, we just click fix. I've not written a line of code here, it's just gone ahead and fixed. And you can see we're getting the data from our API, geography quiz, science quiz, history quiz, which geography quiz, science quiz, history quiz. So if we have a look at the geography quiz, the first question should be, what is the flashcard for capital cities, title, capital cities. What is the capital of France? Yep. Perfect. What is the capital of France? Paris should be true. See if that works. Nice. What is the capital of Japan? So let's say Seoul. Yep. So that's working correctly. Beautiful. So we've got a backend now connected to the front end. That's all the complexity of creating a mobile application. You just need to add on to that. We haven't written a single line of code. That's taken me all of 20 minutes to create that. So say we want to change the design, what can we do? We usually buy these UI kits just because they're very good looking. Our clients love them. So don't do this without purchasing a license to the templates. But what I'd recommend is you buy something like this. You can then take pictures. So you can use these to update the design theme. But generally what I would do is just look at what else is out there, create a Figma with a designer that you like, an atomic design system. So you know what your primary color buttons are going to be, your secondary color buttons, what your animations are going to look like. and then give that to Bolt to create the app. This is just a very quick way to do it. But to be honest with you, I'm also quite happy with what's come out here. I would add to this things like animation. So when you press on a flashcard that's correct or a question that's correct, something like confetti could jump through or something like that. So let's see. Let's change the primary color to orange, softer background. Yeah, so there's some things which haven't gone well here. Border radiuses have been increased. So up here, there's a fire emblem. So yeah, to be honest with you, I preferred the previous iteration. So this is a good point. How do we undo something we don't like? In Bolt, you just go here, click undo, revert now. And that just takes us straight back to the previous checkpoint. Much prefer this. You probably get a better result with maybe a few different pictures or a very simple theme, like a dark theme or something like that. Or you can just fix the issues along the way as well. You can just give it instructions and fix the issues with regards to design. So that's it. That's how easy it is to create a mobile app now with AI. Usually before this would take a team of people to do the front end, the back end, but I'm quite confident now that anyone can build their own apps quickly with a little bit of planning around how you're going to build the app, what features you want to add, and then the step-by-step process of doing that. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I will happily run through them and get back to you as soon as possible.